Hi, everybody. This is...
Don't make faces at him. It's making it harder.
Hi, everybody. Hi, I'm Oz from Tuesday. God damn
Bird
it.
has to kick you out.
God damn it.
Keep your clothes on.
Fuck. I'm really going to get distracted. Stop. Please.
The shoes are next.
Breath in, breath out. Pause.
Thank you. I'm glad you're here to... Yes, I do. Every time. All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Oz from Tuesday Night The Basement. You can find that on SoundCloud and on iTunes. Please go take a look. And today, this is No Book Entertainment Weekly presents Talking Deadersons. So I'm here today with... Thank you for that. I got a cheerleader here.
I was.
Valerie Meacham.
Hi.
Derek L. Cook.
How you doing?
You know him as Mama and Papa Dederson. Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
We're doing great.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having us.
This has been a great conversation. I'm sorry you guys didn't get to hear it. Thanks for listening. Bye bye. No.
You should have been here earlier. So
Yeah,
Oh.
we have caffeinated people who've already been jabbering away
Yeah.
while we were
You guys came with your own drinks. That's
We
a
did.
first for the show. No
We
one
come
comes with their
prepared.
own drinks. Thank you so much for that. So how's it going?
Good.
You guys just got done filming. Well, you got done filming a while ago, but episode 6 is up now.
Yes.
It was a Halloween episode.
Halloween.
How was it? How was filming?
filming was great.
Yeah.
The scenes that Valerie and I were in, I think, went fantastic.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun setting up the party and just having all the stuff going on and
That was the longest episode so far, right?
yes.
You guys, how like did it take a lot of time to film that episode in a lot of locations? I mean, was it more cumbersome?
Not for us.
Not for us.
We filmed
Probably was for Chris and Wyatt.
Yeah, we just filmed at the house, basically.
yeah.
We show up at the house, we film, we go home, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make it easy for us as easy as they possibly can. So
we for everybody watching, hi. We've been talking for like 40 minutes or something crazy like that. We had it's awesome. These guys are so awesome. You guys have a lot. I'm sorry, I swore. I'm not supposed to swear. You guys had a lot of acting experience. You guys have been doing this for a while. This is nothing new to you. You got Valerie, you've got theater experience.
Mm-hmm.
Derek, you've been doing improv work. You started out with Second City out in Chicago.
Yeah, I went through the A3 improvisation classes.
Yeah.
levels, And now, I started taking more improv classes out at the Comedy Shrine. And
Right.
Also, to get more practice and to work with different people. And
Why? Why the hell are you working with this guy? Why didn't Chris lucked out with you guys? You guys you and Sue they get so much talent. It's amazing to me.
well, I mean, it sounded like fun. I had worked with Wyatt before. I had done a couple of FMLs. and
That's right.
That's probably about the level of my improv ability. I do not have the training in improv that Derek does. I'm a Shakespeare girl. I like having my lines written out and
Yeah, you were
rehearsing a lot.
Totally schooled me in Ophelia.
yeah.
I have no idea who that is, and you're like Ophelia.
Ophelia.
Was it Hamlet?
In Hamlet, yeah.
Right.
The main thing you need to know is she went crazy and she drowned. You know, if you didn't, these are important things, right? And she sings a little. Gives people flowers and sings little songs and basically freaks everyone the hell out. And then she falls in the river and drowns. It's all very sad. No, seriously, look it up. That's what happened.
You're writing a play about. Are you written a play?
I have written a one-woman show about
Right.
Elizabeth Siddle, who was a model. And the reason we started talking about Ophelia,
Right.
She was a model for a very famous painting of Ophelia that was done by John Everett Millais in 1852, 51, something like that. And she was a model for several of this group of artists who were called the Pre-Raphaelites, and married one of them, and that's what she's best known for. Basically, is
Pre-Raphaelites. So they were
that was kind of what their group was called. This group of artists, and
because they were painting before Raphael. I mean, what does that mean?
what actually was is their idea was that they were going back to principles of art from
okay.
before Raphael, but they were actually painting the mid 19th century in England, and
So
basically
they're a bunch of hipsters.
Kind of, actually, yeah. No, seriously, it was a bunch of guys from like 19 to about 23 who were getting together and drinking a lot of coffee and saying, we're going to turn the art world on its ear.
Hipsters.
Yes, exactly.
That's great.
Victorian hipsters. But anyway, Lizzie is best known as a model for them. She was also became an artist and a poet in her own right. And she eventually, she died at 32 of laudanum overdose. She was addicted to
Holy
laudanum,
shit.
which was a very common opiate.
Yeah, it was like the
medication
cocaine of
at
the
the
day.
time.
She was getting high.
Well,
I
it
like
was-
her already. Jesus.
Yeah, and so
I mean, that's tragic.
she had a
though.
lot of
Sorry
health
she's dead, but-
problems, and that. But anyway, so I wrote when the original draft of it, the thing would have been like 3.5 hours long, so I had to do a lot of it. And this is an idea I first had over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so it's something that was kind of percolating for a long time. So yeah, I did a staged reading of it last year, and I'm in the process of getting it produced now. We'll see what happens.
Wow. I hope it works out.
Me too. I put a lot of work into it.
It sounds like it. Like all the effort you're talking about, and you know so much about it. It would be a shame if it didn't work out.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I hope so.
I hate talking to smart people. I feel so dumb.
Oh, you are not dumb.
No, Jesus, like Ophelia, and what was the name of the lady again? I can't even remember.
Lizzie Siddle.
Lizzie Siddle. Like, you know about the era and the hipsters of the time, and they're all getting lauding them up and getting drunk and stuff. That's great, man.
There's a British TV series which is not at all historically accurate but great fun, and I think you might enjoy it, called Desperate Romantics. You should check out. It kind of gives you an idea of who they are, and then you can go and read. You know, if you feel like looking up who these people are and read like the real stuff. I think there are a lot of people who will be like horrified that I recommend it because it's like really historically inaccurate. But it's a bunch of young people running around, in gorgeous costumes, getting into all kinds of trouble. And but it gives you a general idea.
I have a connection to Hamlet.
Oh yeah.
You probably know this. Once I mention it to you, you can be like, oh yeah, that's right. Osric.
Oh, Osric. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, and I've never read the play, but apparently my name's in there somewhere.
It is.
So I'm like, smart by association or well read by association or something. My
She's
mom's
very
well
much-
read.
Well,
Whatever.
I tell you what, people don't realize you have to tell people they don't teach Shakespeare right. It's like, this is very serious and we all have to read it on the page and blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. Shakespeare is full of dick jokes. Shakespeare is full to the brim with dick jokes. And if you don't believe me, look at the notes
Just
at the bottom
Google
of the
Shakespeare
page.
dick joke.
Yeah. Look at the notes on the bottom of the page on every play, comedy, tragedy, history. I don't care. There are dick jokes everywhere.
Well, the funny thing is, like, at the time they were writing those plays, like, actors weren't even well respected.
No.
They were kind of seen as like being like sort of lower class and dirty.
And it was, this was the popular entertainment. This was TV. This was,
it was the reality TV, I guess, of the day.
You
In the
know.
sense, like, it was probably seen that way.
Oh, yeah.
By like wealthier people or people of standing.
Yeah,
even back then, I think didn't they have like women weren't actors very much? They had to
they
actually
were
use men to
they
play
it was
them.
illegal
Right.
in England. It was illegal until
That was Goofy
16
Fox. That's so
some odd.
weird.
There's another play called Stage Beauty that is amazing. That is about when they changed the law in England and women were allowed to actually act on stage.
Really?
With Billy Crudup, who is amazing. God, he's so good. He plays a real life character named Ned Kinniston, who was one of the last actors to play women's roles in British theater. And it's just, there's so much about what it means to be an actor, what it means to be a theater person, about all of these changes in society. And it's him and Claire Danes, and it's amazing.
What's the name again?
Stage Beauty.
It's a movie or is it a?
It's a movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, just switching lanes a little bit here.
Yeah.
Derek, how you doing? You've been sitting there quietly and patiently, man.
I let my wife talk when she wants to talk.
She does a lot of it. You have to stop her.
How many people auditioned? I know that you guys were Wyatt and Chris wanted you guys for the roles, right? For these roles particularly, or
That's what they tell us.
What happened? What happened in my case? I knew Chris from working on a previous film.
right? That's right. Yeah.
And
I heard that backstory.
Yeah,
I don't know
and-
how deep we can get into that, but
yeah. So she put on Facebook that they were casting for this sitcom called The Deadersons, and from what I saw of it, there was just something inside of me that was like, I gotta get on this. I gotta try out for this. And I showed up for auditions, and Chris was so happy I showed up. And in fact, she sent me sides to audition for both David and Ben Midnight.
Oh, okay.
So when I went in for the audition, I read for both parts.
Oh.
And then I go home going, I wonder if I got something. I wonder if I got something. And then later that night, I got the email saying, we want you as David Ederson.
Yeah.
Do you accept it? I'm like, well, hell yeah.
I made the right choice.
Thank you.
I have to say, like, I know this is all my favorite line that you've ever delivered on the show, and it's for like a commercial that you were doing.
I know what
You know what I'm talking about?
You know, it was so funny when we shot that. We were sitting around the house.
Yeah.
Before we shot it, and Wyatt said, "Derek, we're gonna shoot a commercial for your funeral home, and we need a tagline." And improv kicked in, and I just said, "Dederson Funeral Home. We dig your family." He was like, "That's perfect."
Genius. It was so good.
He delivered it so deadpan. It was beautiful. First time I heard it, I was like, I like that guy.
I love doing
That's a
that.
perfect delivery.
One of my favorite comedic actors was always Leslie Nielsen, and the way
Oh.
that he could deadpan.
Yeah, he was.
man.
Oh my
And I
god,
was
that's
like,
perfect.
If I could deadpan half that well,
Yeah.
I'm in. You know,
Well, he was doing that whole Mr. Magoo thing a lot, where it was just like sort of like, oh, you know.
I have no idea what's going on here, but I'm going to be very stolid.
What's it like playing Mr. Dederson? Is that does that character? I mean, like, let's take it out of the zombie like scenario, but he's just like working guy. You know what I'm saying? He's just like a salesman. He's just trying to build a business from scratch. Like, does that ring true to you? Is that something that's familiar to you, or your life experience?
In a way, the thing, and again, like I said earlier, I've only been acting for about 5 years, so I don't even know what I don't know.
Oh, I
So
see what you did
so I
there.
keep
Never
learning.
know.
So I keep learning stuff as I go along. But
He
from
just
what
got
I-
all Socratic on it. That was great.
But what I found about acting is that when an actor develops a character for a role, there has to be some semblance of that actor in that character. Otherwise, that character is not believable.
Gotcha.
So if you compare me to David Ederson, the fact that David's branching out and doing his own business kind of mimics the way that I'm branching out and doing an acting career while I'm still maintaining a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah. Okay.
As far as David, he is very family oriented. Probably more so than I am at points sometimes. So, but to David, that's his whole world. And it would be interesting to see what would happen if something happened to the family, because David
It would not be
just.
Oh
great.
no!
I
Don't
think
you
I-
speak that evil into life,
I-
sir. What are you doing?
I'm not saying anything.
Oh my gosh, the
I'm
Dederson's
not-
about to become a
I'm not-
tragedy. What are you talking? Don't say that. You're gonna give Chris and
We
White
have no
ideas.
idea.
People are gonna start dropping like flies. It's gonna be like
But
The
you know,
Walking
it's
Dead.
I want to see what happens to David if that happened. You know,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
because my wife will say, "Well, what would David do in this situation?" And I'd be like, "I don't know, because I'm not in." And how often do you know what you would really do in a given situation?
Yeah, right,
You
right.
think, okay, if my wife was to leave me, in a real life situation, well, I would go and do this and do this and do this, and as soon as she leaves, you're like, so you never know what you're going to quite do unless you're faced with that situation. So I
Right.
can't go in with a predetermined, this is what David's going to do. I'm just going to have to see.
Was it hard for you, like, when you decided to get into acting?
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that was really scary. Like, I don't know. I don't know what that's like. I've never done anything like that. Probably the closest I can imagine. Like, just up and just like, I'm gonna do this whole new life thing, or like there's a desire that I've had. I'm just gonna do it. I don't know if I have anything like that.
Here's what happened with me. When I was in high school, I tried out for one play. It was A Christmas Carol.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was just I sucked really bad or what. I don't remember getting any negative feedback from the casting director, but I felt like when I walked out there, I was like, there's a pit in my stomach. I was like, I can't do this. I can't stand up in front of people and talk. I was so backward and shy. Because of my height and my size, I was still on a drama team. They would always have me pulling the curtain. So
Oh,
the big ropes pulling the curtain.
you got typecast in the background. Get Sasquatch over here.
So-
Pull the rope.
So another 20, from that point on, another 25 years went by, and I never did anything. I pretty much, if somebody asked me, what did you do for the first 40 years? Well, I pretty much sat on a couch and wasted my life away. But I was watching movies and TV, and really, I always thought if I could get into acting that I would have a lot of fun, and I might be good at it.
Right.
But I never took that chance. And then one time I went to church.
Wait, just a second. What do you think that was? What do you think held you back? Did you have that fear the whole time? Or,
Well, here's the thing. I didn't branch out enough to know that there were independent film projects happening all over the place. I could have got plugged in if I would have taken that step to get started. But I didn't know any of that at the time.
Right.
And I was I had kind of got into that, okay, this is never going to happen. I'm going to work a 9 to 5. I'm going to be this, and this is what my life's going to be. And I kind of settled into that.
Wow.
And then one day when I went to church, we had just gotten a new worship arts pastor, and he was putting on a play. And he said, "You'd be perfect for one of the disciples." And I was like, "Me? On the stage? In front of people? Acting?" And he said, "You've only got one line, and I think you'll be fine." And I said, "Okay, fine." So as they were casting other people, I said, "Well, what parts are left?" And he says, "Well, we got this part, and nobody wants to play Judas." I said, "What the hell? I'll play Judas."
Oh.
And I don't know what it was. Valerie, you probably can relate to this. Being in that atmosphere, being around those people, working toward an artistic endeavor, there was something that just clicked. It was like, wow, this is where I want to be.
Right.
I want to do this. And long story short, we've had that same play at the church over 3 different times over a period of years, and I played Judas every time.
All right.
They even had me say, we thought about you being Jesus one time, but you just got that Judas thing.
What kind of Judas did you play? Did you play like a remorseful, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this? Or were you like a...
Well, we were, the way that the play was structured, we were sitting at the Last Supper, and it was Jesus, all the disciples had to get up and either deliver a monologue, or the narrator would do like a spoken monologue for them, and then they would turn and say, "Lord, is it I?" And the whole time, and everybody there is doing the whole, Jesus is here and he's talking and we're eating, and I'm just kind of in the back going, does he know? Does he know what I'm going to do? I'm kind of that nervous.
Yeah,
I don't want to be anywhere, but it was so funny. The best compliment I ever got acting.
Yeah.
The guy that was playing one of the disciples, his parents were in the audience, and they have been doing acting for years.
Mm-hmm.
His dad came up to me afterwards and said, "As soon as you came in the room, I knew exactly who you were, and I hated you."
Wow.
And I was like, "Thank you," because if you can get a character to elicit that kind of response in somebody,
Yeah.
then you've done your job.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was like the best compliment I ever got acting.
The description that you gave of that play, I almost want to see that play, because in my head, when you said that, I thought of this play as like The Last Supper as Reservoir Dogs, and you're the Tim Roth character, like you're the undercover cop, and you're trying to like, do they know the whole time?
Hey, who didn't tip? What do you mean they don't tip?
That was great. Man, so that was it. Like in church, you got the role in this play, and then from there, you realized.
And what happened was, it was funny. The worship art pastor, and I know I'm taking a lot of time on this. So
No, go for it. Yeah.
The worship art pastor, we talked a while back, and he said, if you want to get serious about this, you really need to take acting classes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, you're right, I do. And I sought out an acting teacher who was just teaching on the side, but he was also starting to delve into directing short films.
Right.
And he had put out a posting. He says, "Hey, we're going to shoot this real short 10-minute film or 20-minute film that we're going to submit for a competition. Would you like to be in it?" And I said, "Sure." And it was through that I actually, my very first film, I became eligible to join SAG.
Wow, really?
Now, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. There are actors in Chicago that have been doing this for years, still waiting for their SAG voucher. So for me to come in on my very first film and be eligible to join SAG, that's amazing.
That is amazing. It's so funny. You guys, you're here right now. Thinking about acting, I think a lot of times people think there's one road that gets you from being just like, hey, I work at the Quick Trip.
There's no right way.
Yeah, it seems like there's so many ways to go.
There are as many ways as there are actors.
Because your experience was very different, right? The
Yeah.
way you came up. Are you from Ohio? Is that where you're from?
I'm an Air Force brat, so where are you from is a really complicated question.
Gotcha.
But I lived in Columbus, Ohio before I lived in this area for about 10 years. And
Okay.
I did, I worked with a Shakespeare company there for about 10 years. It was just amazing. I got, I did my first Shakespeare role there, and I was in the company for 10 years. I did directing.
Who was your first role?
Was Mariana in Measure for Measure.
I don't know what that is. Please.
Not a super well known. It's not one that's super well known, but I have a soft spot in my heart for her, and it would take too long to explain why. But it was I got to play this role.
Yeah.
Actually, if you've ever heard I'm sorry. In My Fair Lady, the poem that he has her recite with the marbles in her mouth, with blackest moss, the flower pots were thickly crusted one and all. That's actually, I can't remember who, I think it's Tennyson. It's a Tennyson poem that's about this character.
Okay.
And she's basically...
Wow, that's like 4 degrees separate. Like,
Oh, yeah.
how do you know this? How do you know this?
I am interested in things. I read things. I connect. Making connections. Making connections is what my brain does.
Sure. Yeah.
Really, that's what it comes down to. Is I'm always, oh, this is like this, and this is connected to this, and this refers to this, and that's just, it's like if you look in my brain, it's just spider web of references.
I like it. That's great. Little ADD, a little bit.
Actually, I can focus pretty well.
A little
but-
smather. Well, people ADD can focus on the things that they care about. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But there's always multiple lines going on. But anyway, so her thing was the villain of the piece basically was she was engaged to him, and he dumped her because the ship carrying her dowry sank, and so she didn't have money anymore. And so she's basically been sitting there, and she can't marry.
What a day I had! I lost my dowry at sea.
Yeah.
He was a gold digger.
He was. He is Angelo is a piece of well. The thing
What's the name of this play again? What's the name of this play?
Measure
again?
for Measure.
Oh, I gotta
the thing
see
with
this.
Measure for Measure is it's basically Shakespeare's take on Machiavelli's The Prince.
Okay.
Okay.
And there is a character who is the Duke, who is like the prince, who's going around, in disguise, watching, learning all this stuff, and it's kind of his commentary on that. And Angelo is this very Machiavellian character.
Yeah, he's just trying to come up.
He's just so he is, he is outwardly very virtuous and all this stuff, and behind the scenes, he's like threatening this novice nun that if she doesn't have sex with him, he's going to have her brother executed.
So he's Littlefinger from Game of Thrones.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's great.
And he dumped Mariana because her dowry was lost, and he gets his at the end. But but anyway, so I have a very soft spot for her, and I directed a production of Cymbeline, which is one that very few people know, which is why I had a grand total of 5 people audition for like 30 parts, and it just about cost all of my sanity. But
Never
it
heard
came
of it,
off
but I love
somehow.
the name. I want to name my next kid that. Cymbeline?
Yeah, Cymbeline. It's ancient Celtic king.
Yeah.
Shakespeare took a lot of his stuff from various history books that were around at the time. That were
What's it? I hate to cut you off here, but
Yeah.
what's it like taking all that Shakespearean, like practical application? And how do you, blah, 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 blah. Like you have all this background in Shakespearean theater, and now you're playing a zombie.
Well, I'm playing as
Oh,
I'm playing a zombie, but I'm playing, Donna Reed or
Right.
or June Cleaver or I mean those are the comparisons that people are making a lot. I grew up on reruns of Bewitched, and I Love Lucy and all of that. That's where I'm thinking. That's where my brain goes.
No, that makes sense. That makes
and
sense.
but
even though I don't even
my mom was so excited in the first episode in the dinner scene that I had pearls. She's like, "Oh, you've got pearls, just like Donna Reed." It was so cute.
But I don't even think of those shows as Shakespearean in nature.
No,
you know what I mean?
But they're a part of my makeup. They're part of my background.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
I knew those when I was itty bitty tiny, long before I knew any Shakespeare.
Right.
And it's all. I mean, it's all of a piece with the Shakespeare. The language is different. You get used to the rhythm of it. You get used to it. But people are people. The whole thing with Shakespeare is that it is the breadth of human experience.
Right.
That's why we still do those plays. So if I thought about it, I could find someone who is like Donna because, like David, she's very much, this is about my family and woe betide you if you threaten her family because you haven't seen yet what she can do. I am convinced. And this is anything that anybody's told me. But, the hints are there in what Chris has already written. In the first episode, when I go off on the Midnights about, no, don't you dare say anything about my daughter.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You went all Mama Bear on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for both of them, I know for Donna, but I feel like for both of them, it's because, they're in this world where everything imploded. And this was just like 10 years ago.
Do you spend a lot of time, you guys, I'm just curious. One of the things that I find very interesting about the show is the backdrop, like the actual backstory of like this horrible plague or this What happened? And
We speculate about it. We don't know.
Nobody
They haven't
knows.
told us anything.
but something horrible happened.
I have this whole big theory that I came up. I was telling them about like during while we were.
Did you
shooting
guys
the
debate
pilot.
about it behind the scenes?
Well, I
Like
mean,
you're trying to figure it
have-
out?
We had
Yeah?
all these wacky names like, Dederson and Slaughter and Midnight and all these. And it's like, these were not our names
Right.
before the apocalypse happened. So I have it in my head and I have no idea if it'll turn out this way. And I may have to, I will have to adjust as Chris writes things. But I have it in
Spoiler
my
alert.
head.
No.
I have it, my personal, headcanon
Yeah.
is that the apocalypse happened, and as the zombies, as the infection settled in, as we started to get like our faculties back and started, we didn't necessarily remember who we were.
Oh, so you created
so
names as placeholders.
We looked at pop culture.
Yeah.
We looked at all of these records of what the world was before and rebuilt it.
Oh, that's very interesting.
That's what I have in my head.
That's
and
interesting.
So this, these may not literally be our kids, but they're our kids now. And don't mess
Oh,
with them.
wow.
And maybe they are. Who knows? I don't know. Chris knows. Wyatt is over there looking like he might know.
That's probably the darkest.
But that's the first thing that, and this is and this is my geek coming out because I'm a massive fangirl dork. I write fanfic. I make vids. I do cosplay.
You gotta remember how much she talks about Marvel comics and heroes.
Before you got here, that's what we were talking about.
Oh yeah,
She was talking
I'm
about,
hardcore
like-
fangirl. So
I'll let
I
her.
come as much as my acting background, my fanish background comes in as I'm always trying to fill in what don't we know yet.
Right.
And that's one of the first things that occurred to me is we look like an old sitcom, even though we've got some, our clothes, not everything.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's not like a real period piece, but we have taken these pieces of what was before and
you've
built
modeled your
something-
society off of that. Yeah, that's really interesting. Oh my
And
god.
this is totally my theory. This is not canon at all. This is not Chris at all. This is just what's been going on in my head since we started.
You just start shooting like alternate universe episodes where one episode like because here's what I thought. What I thought was that it was like a social thing where you were like, we're rejecting that society that hates us, and so we're going to take on
Which also
this
totally
new
makes
modeling.
sense and could
Yeah.
be, is just as valid a theory.
Yeah, I'm the Midnights, we're the Slaughters, we're the Dedersons, like that sort of thing. We're the,
exactly.
But
But either way, I think it does come down for Donna absolutely to we came out of chaos and
Right.
this is what we built and do not threaten it because this is what holds us together. This is what makes us human in the way that, this is what makes, air quotes, human, but we are. This is what makes us people.
right.
And it's really, really, really important.
Absolutely.
And that's why, people are like, oh, you don't want to play a housewife. I'm perfectly happy playing a housewife because, my grandmother's was a housewife. And let me tell you, you didn't mess with her. One of my favorite stories, one of my all-time favorite stories, my mom was talking about one time when she was little. And this was, in this late 50s, early 60s, you wear a hat and gloves, when you're going anywhere because you're a lady. My grandmother changing a tire like that in the rain.
She changed, but in like a
With
like a hat
her
and
hat
white
and her gloves, and they showed up at this at this American Legion event because she was the American Legion auxiliary president. And, showed up and she looked spick and span and she had changed a tire in the rain.
So, Derek, do you have a backstory that you prescribe to, or
I kind of go the route of like the Munsters and the Addams Family. It just is.
Oh, okay.
But if I had to put a finger, I kind of tend to think more like our parents' were the flesh-eating zombies that the infection settled.
Oh, okay.
Then they just started having children, and we're a product of that.
Mm.
And our kids are a product of that, and the infection's already settled within us. So it's kind of more of a generational thing.
So in your head, oh, that makes a lot. Okay,
I like
this is
that
great.
too.
This is great.
That's
'cause-
awesome too.
But, one of the things that you mentioned earlier, you mentioned the difference in the acting styles between us. Mm-hmm. And I've actually worked that into backstory.
Really?
Yes. The way that Valerie carries herself as Donna, it strikes me as being maybe she comes from an aristocratic type of family. Maybe they were, they had money. Maybe they were influential.
Right.
David's just this hardworking, I won't say slouch or slob, but he's just kind of this hardworking, maybe lower
Yeah, blue collar
kind of guy.
Yeah.
That it's just that that love is there. Now maybe her parents hate me. It's like, well, you could have done better than this David guy. But
And there is always the in-laws thing.
Are we ever going to
sitcom,
meet?
After all,
I guess if we were to meet the parents, that would answer so many questions. It would, we wouldn't be wondering anymore, right? I wonder.
But I love
wonder.
how I really believe that our acting styles they complement each other.
Yeah.
well, and that's and to me that's also, and it's again, it's kind of an homage to the sitcom thing. You've got Ralph Cramden, and I mean, you always kind of had. Because and it was because I'm telling, as I just mentioned, my grandma, the lady who always wore the hat and the gloves, and they were. My grandfather worked in a steel mill in Detroit. They were very much blue collar people,
Right.
but you had to have that about you to be respectable.
Right.
And
especially the women, because they were the ones.
Yeah.
They were the ones that would
had
go
to be
out.
a lady.
They would go to the store. They would go to meetings. They would be the ones that when you look at a family, and you think, well, how am I going to judge this family? You would always look at the mom first, because the mom was back. At least back then, they were the kind of the backbone of the family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I feel that we have here. David is, David. I look at David as more like the figurehead kind of thing. If the kids are doing something and it gets to me, there's a problem,
Gotcha.
and it better be dealt with before it gets to her.
Yeah, I got. Yeah, I got you.
That, it's like that. They're going to go to mom, and I will lay down the discipline if I need to. But if she gets riled up, you deal with your mom.
if I start messing with your paper, we have a problem.
Yeah.
But you're doing some voice work then.
I'm trying to. I mean, I've actually, I hesitate to even mention it because I'm like really, really far behind on it, because I'm also doing the editing and but I'm like, okay, because somebody said, oh, you should really get into doing audiobooks. I'm like, okay, let's give this a try. I got on ACX, which is Amazon's audiobook creator exchange. And it's where voice talent and producers and authors can meet up. So basically an indie author can go and get an audiobook made on this thing.
Oh, interesting.
And my best friend from college wrote a book called The Light at the End of the World, which I adore.
What's it about?
It's kind of an urban fantasy. It's definitely kind of the apocalypse is happening, angels, demons, and in the middle of it basically are these people going, how did we get dragged into this crap? Which is one of my favorite things ever. I mean, I love, Buffy and Sleepy Hollow and all of that, whistling past the graveyard of people just getting caught up in things that, how is this my life? Why are there demons?
The only show that I watch that is sort of a premise is Supernatural.
She's
Really?
a big Supernatural fan too.
Really?
So,
Love that show.
but yeah, it's got very much its own feel, and it's urban fantasy, and there are no vampires, yay. Although she has a series that's also about vampires that she wrote starting when we were in college, which is fantastic. J.A. Cummings is her name. But I got into this, and the technical requirements for you have to be within very specific parameters as far as levels and all this stuff. And my learning curve for figuring out how to make that happen was, oh my God. So for a while there, it was taking me like 9 hours to do every chapter.
It's so people don't understand how hard it is to just do audio stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what Wyatt and Chris and all the video editing and the spice and everything. I'm never going to touch that. Or at least I would have to hire somebody to do it.
Easier. Well,
Video editing's easier?
I mean, I can do audio editing, but it's getting the really specific requirements that
Yes.
ACX has. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I had to learn what all those numbers even meant.
Yeah, right.
So they'll even accept the files when I upload them.
Where do you record it? Like in a closet?
I have right now. I have a sort of ad hoc recording booth in the. There's a little room in our basement. The guy who owned our house before was a contractor, and he had built a little office in his basement, and I lined part of it with carpet squares. And what I really need to do actually is make it the closet in one of our bedrooms instead.
Just
But I
reduce
need
the
to
echo.
finish this first. Well, no, there's no echo. That's fine because I've got all the carpet squares, and it's it's good.
So why a closet then if you got one that's got something that's working for you?
Because I'm getting, it doesn't have a proper ceiling. It's got like the rafters in the basement. And if there's anything else going on in the house, if the TV's on above me, if there's anybody, I have to do it when nobody else is home.
Yeah, water
Sometimes I
kicks
can
on.
hear lawnmowers from outside, and basically it's just, I'm not getting echo, but I'm getting too much outside noise.
Gotcha.
And like the pipes for we have a boiler. Our house is 108 years old, and so the boiler heat, like the pipes, I have to turn the boiler off so there's not like water going through the pipes when I'm trying to record.
I totally gave up on audio quality. Like, it's so hard to get it right. I even took off the pop filters. I'm like, I don't care. Like, it's such a hassle. Like, getting the levels right. Even I'm not even like what you're talking about, trying to get it to auto. The hell's wrong with me? Get it to like audiobook quality. I'm not even. I'm like, no.
I had no idea. I had no idea how hard it was going to be. And this is like, this is something that I totally think actors should look into. But unless you're willing to put in like a shitload of work figuring out how to make it happen, find someone else to produce it, because
it's got to be great for like voice work, like teaching yourself.
Yeah.
How to use your diaphragm. How to speak from down here. Take the breath in.
Well, and there are so many characters.
Oh,
and
yes, that's right.
I'm doing everything. I'm and when you're doing an audiobook, it's not like you're voicing a cartoon that they have to be really, really separate. But somebody listening has to be able to tell who's talking at any given
Some people
time.
seem sloppy. I listen to
And
a
I'm
lot
like
of
talking
audiobooks.
for Lucifer, so it's like how do you do a voice for Lucifer?
Like, I'm impressed that you even try, because some people don't give a damn. Like, you listen to some people that do audiobooks and they're like, their voices sound exact. They're not even trying.
Well,
They're not putting any effort into it.
Yeah, and that's why I have a hard time listening to a lot of them. I listen to audio dramas a lot. I listen, like, I'll get the podcasts from like the BBC audio dramas, or like the Big Finish audios that they do stuff for Doctor Who and Dark Shadows and all that, where they have multiple actors and it's an audio play.
Right. I actually have a favorite voice actor. His name's Roy Dotrice. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, heck yeah. He was Father on Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, he's so good.
He
does,
is.
like, I literally
amazing.
I will buy an audiobook if he is voice acting it, even if I don't even like the book, just to hear him talk.
Yeah, he's
If
and,
anyone-
and he's also
He's
just
really
a really
good.
good actor.
Yeah, I've never seen him act. I only know him as a voice
Do you
actor.
remember the 80s TV series Beauty and the Beast? Did you ever see any of that?
I mean, like when I was a kid.
Do you remember Father, the guy who was in charge of all the underground stuff? That was him. The guy who kind of adopted Vincent.
I don't even know who that is.
Okay. Vincent was the big lion guy.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that show. I think that
Ron
show was on
Perlman.
when I was like 5.
Ron Perlman looking like a lion. You're hard to forget. That's his hard to forget.
I only know him from Hellboy and Sons of Anarchy.
Same actor,
Yeah.
looking like a lion. His adoptive father was Roy Dotrice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Roy Dotrice his voice is great.
Yeah.
How when it comes to doing improv work, okay, how often do you do improv?
I perform. Well, I perform for the Family Show, which is obviously a family-oriented show, and I do that on Saturdays, maybe 1, 2, maybe sometimes 3 times a month. On Monday nights, we do an open improv jam where it's a bunch of us improvisers. We just open up the theater, and we'll have people come in. If they want to perform, great. They can come up on stage and play with us. If they just want to watch, it's like $5, and they can just sit and watch. And we have a good time. And it's a way for us improvisers to practice and to try new things. And so we do that pretty much every Monday. So
I feel
I'm doing
like-
improv pretty much almost every week.
Yeah, I feel like it's something that you got to be on top of, or you're gonna lose it. It seems like a muscle you gotta work.
Yeah,
out.
there's a lot of rules to improv, but once you get that, it all becomes second nature.
Do you guys? I mean, I don't know how many takes you guys take. I don't know how many times why it's like, great, do it again. Great, do it again.
Perfect. Do it again.
But
Perfect. Back to 1. Let's
I'd
do it
say
again.
on average for each angle, maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Not usually more than that.
do you guys try to improv? Do you guys get a throwaway take that's like, hey, do it the way you want?
We get Wyatt will always say, let's do a rehearsal while I'm setting up, and we'll run through it. We usually flub our lines a few times, and then as soon as he says action and the camera's rolling, we're right on it. Now, not to say that we're perfect in the way we deliver our lines, and there's sometimes where, hey, I'm sitting on this side of the couch where I thought I might be sitting over there, so now I've got to kind of reverse stuff, and hey, I've got a drink here. You throw that in the scene too.
And then you need to remember that. Because that's the thing with on camera, that kind of you get the tension between that and the creativity of that something like an improv background is you come up spontaneously with what you're going to do, but then you have to keep doing that again
Right.
and again because you have continuity. So when the camera is over there and when the camera is over there, you have to do it the same way so he can put it together.
Right. Oh my God, I just got such a lesson in acting from you guys. You guys are pros. I really appreciate it. I learned about breathing, my diaphragm, puff your belly out, you're pregnant. deliver the line, find your center, stretch your spine out. It's good. I feel like we could talk forever, but like we gotta find a break.
Wrap this up somehow.
Yeah, the greatest conversations I feel like are the ones where you can't find a break. Unfortunately, we got to do like a hard segue into
We'll
nothingness
just
now.
have to come back some other time.
You have to. This was great. This is amazing. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Well, I talked to my agent. Now, if I can free it up on the schedule.
Have your people talk to our people.
I don't have any people.
Neither do we.
I'm pretty sure I'm the people.
Yeah.
It's the people. Yeah. Wyatt is the people.
Wyatt
We
talk
are
to
our
Wyatt.
that is the beauty of indie production. We are our own people.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have anything you want to say before we go? Anything that we didn't touch on? You're out there?
You know, I just want to say something. What I really find interesting about the dichotomy of the story and the way Chris is writing it is we've got two groups of people. We got the infected, we got the uninfected.
Mm-hmm.
They're separated by a wall. Both groups are living in fear. How are they dealing with it?
Right.
The living are all held up in town hall meetings doing this whole, what are we going to do with these neighbors of ours? You know, and the infected are going bowling. we're going to the school prom. You know, we're holding Halloween parties when they banned Halloween in Riverside. So
And the worst has already happened to us, and we came through it.
right.
That's such a good point. I never thought about it like that.
It's interesting to see how each side is living in fear, and if you put that into the realm of what we live in today, we're all kind of living in fear of something.
Yeah.
How are we dealing with it?
That's very, I never thought about it like that. What you just said, Valerie, about if you're on the zombie side of the wall, the worst has already happened.
Yeah,
So you're
what
not
they're
in fear
afraid
of that. That's
we're
really
already
cool.
Past.
Right.
We have our own things to be afraid of.
Yeah.
Starting with them.
Yeah, we're just afraid of the humans in general because we don't trust them.
Yeah.
Do you think that when Chris is writing, is this like a conscious allegory to the Cold War?
You'd have to ask Chris.
Yeah, that's a good
question.
question.
So you talk about somebody who's got a spider web of connections in their head.
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
man. I've had conversations with, and I have conversations with Chris. We'll start here. We'll end up over here. We have no idea how we got there because we both do that same thing of ping, ping, ping. This connects in 6 different directions, and she uses that when she writes, which is really, really interesting.
That's why I love Chris's writing. When we worked on that on the film project together, I read the script. I was like, "This is fantastic. I love the script." And then as soon as she said we're coming out with the Deadersons, I was like, "Ooh."
Yes,
I know we can't talk about that,
Yeah, I know.
but I hope that comes to fruition one day. You know what I mean?
I do too.
All right. Let's end it here. All right, cool.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you
for
guys
having
for
us
coming.
out.
This was great, man. This was awesome. It was really great meeting you guys. You guys are awesome. I wish I could lock you up in my basement and talk to you whenever I felt like it.
Oh, I bet you say that to all the actors.
He does.
All right, everybody. That was Talking Deadersons. We're going to cut it off right now. Valerie Meacham, Derek L. Cook. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.